Live. Good morning. Sorry, we are minutes after the. We have 4 minutes after. There was urgent business that had to be taken care of, and it was involving my children. So here we are. We're back here. It's Monday morning. Happy back to work, if that's a thing. I am glad to be back in the office. Weekends are wonderful, but I really look forward to being live on the internet with you guys. And we're, of course, everywhere. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram Live. We are on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. We are everywhere that we need to be because that's where you are. So good morning. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I go live on TikTok and everywhere else I just listed, answering your traffic and police questions. So if you have questions for me that I can answer, please let me know. Drop it into the Q&A section. Now, we do have moderators. Moderators are volunteers, members of the community, not police officers who have volunteered their time or regularly volunteer their time to help us keep it classy. So if you are being disruptive, if you're being offensive, you will likely be either muted or you will be kicked out of the live stream. And then we don't want that to happen because we want everyone to get along. Angela Toppin, good morning. Hello. Q has thrown in a good morning message there as well. Just going into the wonderful world of TikTok and read some very morning. We have, is it Lux Eternal says, I'm very tired of all the aggressive drivers. What can I do about them? You know what? Take a deep breath. There's not much you can do about them. It's all about how you deal with your own feelings about the situation. And I have long ago just decided to ignore them. The aggressive drivers are aggressive. I let them do their thing, and by letting them do their thing, they're going to meet their own fate. Whether they get into a collision as a result of their behavior or a ticket because of their behavior, I'm not going to let them ruin my day. So I move to the right. I let them pass if that's the situation, and they're no longer my problem. Taya says hello, and then we've got. We've got a good morning, a Hanan good morning. Talina, is it Talon? Hello. We got Meninder 330 says, I got a camera ticket. Those do happen. If you're speeding, they happen. If you're running red lights, they happen. So hopefully none of those are things you were doing. And then I don't know what to tell you. But let's see here. We've got Canadian 8. UK drivers don't turn right at a red light. This is true. Neither do Montrealers. We have Emma, good morning, one of our moderators. We have, let's see here. It's really hard for me to chat, to scroll through the chat because it keeps updating. How many DUIs this weekend? I'm waiting for stats. I will post a video as soon as I've got them, but thank you for asking. We got Louis C. back in the house. What's the most amount of alcohol you pulled over? I don't remember the numbers, but into the 300s. I mean, way, way over. And that's for me personally, having pulled someone over. But we regularly see people well over the legal limit. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go into it's too hard. It's just scrolling too fast. If you want me to see it, please throw it in the Q&A section, and that way I will be able to see it. Let's see here. RSM Pat says, watching you during my business trip in Germany. Keep up the good work, sir. Thank you very much, and thank you for the long distance hello. I hope you have a good and safe trip. We've got Big Jeff Fresh, who just jumped into the YouTube, and Tin Totozi says, good morning, welcome back. Someone from Montreal, as a matter of fact. Emma says, you are at 199.3 thousand followers, and you know what? We might actually hit 200,000 during this live stream. Do you think it's possible? You can make it so. So if you'd like to help us out, double tap that screen and show that you like the live stream. And then we can talk about the fact that we'd really like to see you as followers because, well, we'd like to hit 200,000. And what an amazing adventure that would be. 200,000 during a live stream. I don't know if that's even possible, but let's say it is. Another thing, if you have an opportunity, we'd really appreciate if you would to like and follow, well, not like because they've got nothing posted, but follow Toronto Police, at Toronto Police on TikTok. The reason why, I have someone who needs to use that account, and he happens to have a lot of stuff on his shoulder, and he's going to be doing a live stream with us on Wednesday. So I don't know if I've given it away, but yeah, a person with a lot of rank is going to be joining us on maybe the highest rank. Will be joining us on YouTube and all the platforms, and we'd love for him to be able to use the main Toronto Police account, which has no videos and no followers. Well, they think they have like 250 followers right now. In any case, if you'd like to help out, we'd love the assistance to get us on that account up to 1,000. If not, he will be the voiceover cop that day. But yeah, Let's see here. I got a question from Instagram. Says, what are your top advices for driving on highways? Top advice for driving on a highway. Do it safely. Stay to the right if you're not, going above the speed limit, because there are many people who are dangerously and illegally driving above the speed limit. So stay out of the passing lane if you're not passing. And by the way, passing means up to the speed limit. Legally, you're not allowed to exceed it. I know it's not a popular answer. And what else? What else can I tell you about? If you're not comfortable driving on the highway, don't drive on the highway. Not everybody wants to go fast, and not everybody is comfortable at highway speeds. Don't do something you're not comfortable with, because unfortunately, it doesn't make you feel more comfortable pushing yourself into places where you don't feel comfortable. Anyway, CAD Pat's shoulder flashes. Are you ex-Canadian Forces? I am not, but I am wearing our camo. Can I show you the camera? There we go. I'm showing off these wonderful CAD Pat epaulets, and basically our chief authorized us to wear these for the month of November if we purchased them, to raise money. It was put together between the Canadian Armed Forces and our Toronto Police Veterans Association, and it's to raise money for veterans' interests in the city of Toronto. So I think they raised $20,000 or over $20,000. It's awesome. Okay. And a good tidbit from JProx88, don't cut off tractor trailers. Yes, if you're going to be driving on the highway, I'll follow up to that last question, you got to do it safely. And if you are making moves in front of large vehicles that take a long time to slow down and stop, it's a very dangerous move. So, if you're going to be on the highway, if you're going to be driving there, make sure to give space to truckers. They need space. And if you cut in front of their front bumper, a small car can see you. They can't even see some vehicles off the front of their bumper. Give them space. They really need it. And they'll appreciate it when you do. What is the difference between G2 and G? It's a question coming in from TikTok, and Romeo wants to know. Romeo 416. G2 and G. The biggest difference is that a G is a permanent license. You've graduated. You are good to go. If you're over the age of 21, being 22, you're allowed to have some alcohol in your system. G2 drivers, however, have certain restrictions. First of all, they're not allowed to have any alcohol, zero blood alcohol content. Additionally, they have certain restrictions between 12 a.m. and 5 a.m. Additionally, at least in the first year, essentially, of driving. But beyond that, they're pretty much the same, except that you cannot renew a G2. You'd have to test again to make it longer. Just to let everyone who's new to the room, because we've got over 300 people in here right now, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I go live on TikTok, amongst other platforms. We're also on Instagram Live. We're also currently streaming on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. What else? I think that's everything. And we answer your traffic and police questions. So if you've got questions for me, I am happy to answer. I said Instagram. Q's reminding me. Didn't I say Instagram? Maybe I said TikTok twice. But definitely we are on Instagram. And that's new for us. We just started spending time here on Instagram. And so far, so good. We are having some fun. Now, just to let you know, we have moderators in the room. We have moderators who are volunteers. They're not police officers. They're here on their own free will, helping us out, keeping it classy, because they believe in what we believe in, which is that this is a great way to reach out and talk to people. So please don't spam the chat. Please don't be abusive. You will be kicked out if you do, and that's not what we want to do. We'd rather have a lot of fun for the next hour. Okay. Can I use the highway with a G2? Great follow-up question. And yes, you can. You can drive on any road in the province of Ontario. In fact, you can go interprovincially. You can go to other provinces. You can also go into the United States. But you have to maintain your conditions. You have to do what you're supposed to do. And yes, Angela Topping on YouTube, one of our friends, said, "Is the commissioner coming in?" And she was close. It's the chief. The chief is scheduled to come onto our show on Wednesday at 10:15. So we're going to do we're going to shift Wednesday's show late, and it's going to be a different setup. We're going to be talking to the chief, and that's really exciting because I never would have thought the chief would be hanging out with us. This is so cool. And, he's like the big boss. So, okay. And just because I want to make sure that everyone knows, and Q wants you to know as well, Q being our volunteer moderator / technical producer, she really helps out. And she's in the chat. And if you ask questions in the chat, they will be answered in the chat. If you want me to see the question, you've got to flag it under the Q&A. Otherwise, I won't see it because I can't spend. It's just too active in there. We have over 400 people in the room, and just for the folks the 100 who have come into the room and may not know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I answer your traffic and police questions here on TikTok and all the other platforms that we're currently streaming on, which is a whole bunch. So let's go into it. G2 license, can I drive on a highway at any time? Yes, you can. However, between 12 and 5, you have restrictions as to the passengers that you can carry in the first year. Is it illegal to have underglows on while driving? Yes and no. There's no charge for underglow. There's nothing in the Highway Traffic Act that says Bob can't have underglow. It does, however, have a bunch of rules about other things. It says you can't have any more than 4 headlights to the front. So if you have another light source that's over 300 candela, it's another light source. It says you can't project any light to the front other than yellow and white. So if you have other light sources in different colors, you might be violating that. There's a whole bunch of rules that you could be violating, and my suggestion would be to not use them on the roadway. Use them when you're parked. That's the way to go. Oh, here's a great question. Can you wear earbuds while driving a motorcycle? You can do it when you're walking, when you're skateboarding, when you're riding a motorcycle or driving a motor vehicle of any kind. You're allowed to wear earbuds. In some provinces, only one earbud is legal. In Ontario, you can wear both. Is it the best idea? That's a different question. I don't think it's the best idea. It is different than listening to your stereo in your car because you get more ambient noise coming in. You might hear that siren. You might hear the screech of tires, assuming you're not blaring your stereo. If you're blaring your tunes, you're not going to hear anything regardless. And it's not illegal. It's about safety. If you are hearing impaired, it's not illegal to drive. So that's one of the reasons. Hearing is not a requirement to drive. Are custom-built cars legal? If they pass the safety, they are legal. Okay. Angela's telling me, have some water. You know, with all the talking I'm doing, it gets dry in here. So, yeah, hydration is required, and I shall do regularly. Thanks for the suggestion, Angela. She's taking care of me. Okay.
Your voice or your attitude gets dry?
Thanks, Q. That was Q, folks. Right on cue. Okay. So we started the day off with dad jokes prior to going live, but, you know. What is this? Can I install a light on the rear of the car? That's a really vague question. I don't know what color. I don't know what kind of light. You can only project red and amber, which is your brake lights and signal lights to the rear. So if it's going to be white, it's a problem if it's while you're driving. Pickup trucks and many vehicles have spots or enhanced rear, what's called backup lights. But generally speaking, yeah, I need to know more. I don't want to be too general. If you have flashing lights, it's a problem. If you have, and again, those color restrictions. Irina wants to know if driving a police cruiser feels differently from the regular car. So, you know what? It's a regular vehicle for the most part, enhanced cooling systems. It's got some whistling sometimes because of the light bar on top. And the fact that everybody's slowing down for you and everyone's looking at you. So there is a different feeling, but it's not because of performance. It's because of you're flying a flag and everyone's got eyes on you. It comes with the job. What's the difference between an unmarked versus undercover cop car? It's a great question. An unmarked car is generally going to be operated by a uniformed police car. It just doesn't say police on the side. Whereas an undercover cop car or a police vehicle used for undercover assignments is going to be operated by somebody wearing old clothes, just regular clothes, jeans, T-shirt, whatever, because they don't want to say that they're police officers. Now, it could be an unmarked car used by detectives where they're wearing suit and tie, but they are still people who are going to identify themselves as police officers, where truly an undercover car is not going to identify as a police officer. They're undercover, and blowing their cover by saying, "Hi, I'm a police officer," is not part of the game. Okay. Can you get a ticket for stalling a car or bike? You know what? If you're learning how to drive and you're not proficient in it, could you get a ticket? Not for stalling, but if you can't get out of a live lane and you fail to proceed at green, potentially, but it's unlikely. You know what? Everyone has to learn. Everyone starts somewhere, and I don't think you're going to get into a problem. If there's a potential, you could technically break the law by doing it, but I don't think you'd be getting a problem. if you could eventually get it out of the road, it's good. But you know what? Practice. This is why you practice in other areas, and especially with standard vehicles, sometimes your nerves can get the better of you. Okay, let's see what we got here. Can we use the phone to dial 911? Well, you got the best questions today. Yes, if you are calling 911, you are calling emergency services. You are exempt from the laws that say you can't use your phone. That is the one time a civilian can use your cell phone legally. And that's it. So that's a great question. Hey, we've got almost 500 people in the room. Just want to reset and say, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I go live just about everywhere, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, we're going to experiment with times to see if there's better times to go live, but right now we're doing 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. because it seems to be working for everybody. But you know what? Maybe we need to do some afternoons, and we're open to that. So if you've got ideas, if you've got times that are the best for you, if you think others, we'll put up a poll. We'll get some opinions. If you've got questions about traffic and police, this is the place to do it. You can always ask us in our comments, in our posted videos, and I try to respond to everything that I see. Doesn't always work out. If you want a live response, you can always come in here during our lives and drop a question. We will happily answer it. Can't get to everybody, but we do our very best. Do you support underage drinking? No, I support following the law. There's some interesting laws about drinking that many people don't know about, and that's probably for another show, but it's about purchasing alcohol, not necessarily consuming it. If your parents are providing you alcohol, you're actually legally allowed to consume it, and that's primarily because of, I guess, religious ceremonies and whatnot. So it's not illegal to consume alcohol. It's illegal to buy alcohol, and then outside of specific conditions. But anyway, I don't support underage drinking. Let's see here. PC Shapiro, how about including PC Pappy on your live? I don't think PC Pappy's on TikTok, but it's a great suggestion. If you want to reach out to him and tell him, get on TikTok, we can do that. Certainly, he's not doing the same thing he used to be doing, so I don't know if he's got the time to do it. Okay. Got a lot of stuff here. I see Q's got some answering going on the Instagram, and I won't interfere with that, but let me know if you need me in the Instagram window. Is it legal to speed in a school zone? Well, that's a silly question because it's illegal to speed anywhere. Are bikers supposed to stop at stop signs too? And I think you're referring to cyclists, and yes, they are. Cyclists are required to basically follow all the rules of the road, just as a motor vehicle would. The only thing that they're not required to follow is speeding, oddly enough, and I'm going to get to Tinto Tozzi's question in just 1 second. But to wrap up the whole cyclists, yes, they have to come to complete stops. Bicycles have to stop at red lights and so on. They cannot speed in parks, oddly enough. There's a bylaw against going over 20 kilometers an hour in a park. But on the road, generally speaking, they're not traveling at speeds in excess, and they weren't included in that area of the Highway Traffic Act. Although I have seen vehicles, bicycles in particular, going above, and it would have been handy to be able to write them a ticket, but whatever. It's not personal. I didn't write the law. What division are you in Toronto? I'm with Traffic Services, Toronto Police Traffic Services. We're the citywide traffic unit for the Toronto Police Service, and we go everywhere. We do everything. If it rolls, if it glides, we're all about it. So going to the question that Tinto Tozzi has, and that is, are we allowed to hang decorations on our front mirror? So yes and no. You're not allowed to obstruct the driver's view. If you are obstructing the vision or the ability for the driver to see and operate a motor vehicle safely, you could have a problem. Now, I see masks all day long hanging from rearview mirrors. It seems to be the storage location of choice. It's potentially a problem if you can't see past it. Equally, if you have 732 different air fresheners hanging as well, you could potentially have an obstruction of your vision. And if you're going to put a single decoration or ornament, could you get away with it? Sure. Is it a big problem? Depends. If you were in a collision, however, and that was projected or a projectile into your face, it could be an ouchie. So you got to be careful. Maybe soft decorations, but limited to something small that doesn't obstruct your view. But thanks for the question. I was asked yesterday in a comment in one of our videos about Christmas lights on a vehicle. Can you do that? And you can't have any flashing lights. You can't have flashing red, green, blue, and so on. But if they're solid and just accent lights, I think you could do it. Now, you can't put it in the front windows, but you could potentially put it in your rear windows or on a roof rack of sorts. I've seen that done. Un momento, por favor. I need to have a little bit of water. Agua. My I got to come up with different languages to use. I'm not Italian, although it came to me in Italian. I don't know.
I'm Chinese. It's called soy,
Okay,
but
I won't
chat
remember
thinks
that in
you're
5 minutes.
Rick.
Yeah, I know. Everyone thinks I'm Rick. I hear this all the time. And there's a bunch of videos, and please go find them and tag Chumley. If you find Chumley, he's the only of the Pawn Stars, only one of the Pawn Stars that seems to be on TikTok. But tag him, because I'd love to hear him weigh in on whether he thinks I sound like Rick. I know that everybody else seems to think I sound like Rick. Rick Harris, is it Rick Harris or Rick Harrison? I think it's Rick Harrison. Is the dad, not the grandpa, but the main character on Pawn Stars, a show that I've watched and quite enjoy. Okay.
Pat's offering to teach you different languages for agua.
Oh yeah, cool. We'll have to get into that. Not today though. We got lots to cover. Is an Ontario driver's license valid in the USA? Yes, it is. Equally an American license, and most of the world's licenses are valid when traveling, visiting in Canada. Basically, if you become a resident, things change. But if you're visiting, we honor the licenses of those traveling within our country and our province. Now, if you're going to move here, you have to trade it in within 30 days, because after 30 days, it's no longer accepted, no longer valid. And at that point, they evaluate whether they're not, like, what you would be eligible for, whether you're a G1, a G2, or a G, or what have you.
Okay, so this is not a troll.
Not a troll.
Not
Good
a
to know.
troll.
Okay.
How dark can tits be?
Okay, a legitimate traffic question surrounding dark tints. So it's a funny question. It's funny because it's got two different schools of that you have to pay attention to simultaneously. One is from a safety standpoint, from a mechanic's perspective. When there's an inspection done on your vehicle, a mechanic has to have a little meter to determine how much light comes through your windows. And by law, it is, or by the regulation, it says no more than 30% light blockage for the driver's side, front driver's side, and front passenger side window. That's the windows directly left and right of the driver themselves. In terms of the front windshield, there can be no tint on vehicles 2017 or newer. However, 2016 and older are permitted to have a 3-inch tint strip across the top, a brow, or a tint strip, a sun strip, allowing it to block some light from coming from high above. That's 3 inches, or to the PS1 line, whatever happens first. Now, that's what's legal according to the inspection guide. Now, the windows directly behind, there's no law that says that you can restrict or not restrict those. So you can have limo tint in the back of a limo. You can have limo tint in the rear, privacy tint on the back of your truck if you have an SUV. The back window for your car, the rear passenger and driver's side rear windows. Those are okay. But when it comes to tickets from under the Highway Traffic Act issued by police officers, it's that you cannot obscure the interior of your vehicle with either color tint or reflective coatings. That's it. So that means that it's pretty subjective. As a police officer, if I can't see you, if I can't make out a description, I can lay a charge. If I can't identify you or see inside your vehicle, it's obscured, we're good. Okay, we're moving on. Let's see here. Can a bicycle get a speeding ticket? We briefly talked about that this morning. No, bicycles on the highway can't. However, bicycle speeding in a park under a bylaw can. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, we got a question here, and I know it's going to be an interesting one. Let me put it on the screen. If you're seeing this on any platform other than Instagram Live and TikTok, you'll be able to read along. Nick Papella wants to know and says, I know you touched on this before regarding cops being allowed to speed for responding to calls, but what if they're not responding to calls and are speeding without their lights? I see them speed through parking lots, and it's concerning. Is this still ... Okay, I'm taking a water break, and I'm going to respond. Fastest water break ever. Okay. Yes, the Highway Traffic Act allows police officers during the lawful execution of their duties to exceed the speed limit. They don't have to be responding to a call, and there's no requirement to have their lights on. This is for many reasons, but we often turn off our lights while responding to things because lights tend to make drivers do funny things like pull over and get out of our way and disrupt traffic, and very often for the slight differential in speed, because we're not doing 150 when you're doing 40, we're going in excess of the speed limit, but we're still maintaining a safe speed differential, is what we refer to it as. So we are doing what we have to do to get to somewhere in priority without putting our lights on. You may not know that we are in priority or doing something, but we are allowed to do it. Additionally, what am I hearing loud? Someone's speaking like they got a trumpet. So the deal is that if we are speeding up to see inside your vehicle to see if you're using your cell phone, a legitimate reason to exceed the speed limit. If we're just trying to catch up to the next pack of cars to measure speed, a legitimate reason. So it's not specifically an emergency call. However, and a follow-up question from Nick: is it legal? So yeah, the Highway Traffic Act has specific exemptions. So one of the exemptions, let's say for cell phones, is police, fire, ambulance, and anyone calling emergency services can use their cell phone. First, oh, hang on a second, folks.
Oh, I'm just letting you know now. We can actually still hear it on TikTok. We're gonna do some miming stuff, guys. We're gonna ask him some yes/no questions.
I think we're past the horrible noise. Apologies to everyone. Thanks for sticking around. I know sometimes that does not go very well, but and might as well get into an opportunity to reset the room. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I was going to say North Carolina because I just read something, but I'm not in North Carolina. I am in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And yes, we had a fire test alarm thing. In any case, if you have traffic and police questions, this is the place to be on a whole bunch of platforms. Well, we are on Instagram, TikTok. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn. What else? Facebook. I think we got it covered. And just a reminder for everyone, we have moderators in the room. The moderators are not police officers. They are not paid. They are volunteers, members of the community who just want to keep it classy in here and avoid people being disruptive and being offensive. So please don't harass them. Please don't spam the chat. We want to be able to get to your questions and answers and so on and so forth. So to wrap up, Nico, I think we got it covered. Yeah, essentially, there are legal reasons for police officers to exceed the speed limit. And while interestingly enough, police are the only ones who are allowed to do it for no specific reason, whereas ambulance and fire must be going to an active fire or a specific, going to transport a patient for life-saving reasons. And it's all listed inside the Highway Traffic Act, all of those exclusions. Can a red light camera facing south catch north cars? I believe it's only south cars. I think they're lined up, but I don't know because it's not a police setup. It's just my understanding.
Can red light cameras affect insurance too?
Red light cameras do not affect insurance from everything I've been told. They're issued to a car, not a driver, and your insurance is based on driver experience. Or what is it? It's a driver record. So your driving record is unaffected by red light cameras and speeding cameras, at least under the current laws. So there you go. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that follow button if you're not already following us. Also, if you don't mind, follow at Toronto Police, because we're trying to get the main Toronto Police account up to 1,000 so we can live stream with the chief. We want the chief to come out on TikTok. He needs access. He might be the voiceover cop on my personal account if we can't get him access in time, but it would be great if we could. So on TikTok, at Toronto Police, if you don't mind. Now, I want to take another question. What do we have? We have Patrick with a question. Here's a good question. Do you need an M license to ride an electric scooter, or is G okay? An electric scooter is I don't know what you're talking about. Electric kick scooters don't require a license as long as they meet the needs or the requirements under the pilot. However, in the city of Toronto, electric kick scooters are not permitted. Now, if you're talking about an electric scooter that has no pedals, is not an e-bike, that's a motorcycle, and it would require an M-class license to operate. Now, if you take an e-bike and you modify it in some way, shape, or form, and you make it so that it is no longer an e-bike because it goes over 32 kilometers an hour, now you're a motorcycle. Pedals or no, it doesn't matter. It needs a license, it needs insurance, etc. So, Patrick, I don't know what vehicle you're referring to, but yes and no, and depends. Okay, Kayla Draconis says, "Hi guys, sorry I'm late. Had a work meeting. We'll let you off the we'll let you off the hook. Don't worry. Glad to have you back though." Okay, let's have a look here and see. If someone hit you in a parking lot and take a picture before the area hit. I'm just reading a message from Instagram. Okay, so if you're in a parking lot and you hit a vehicle and you've been involved in a motor vehicle collision, you have an obligation to report it. If you don't know or can't locate the owner of that vehicle, I would suggest not just taking a picture or leaving a note, but calling police and notifying police. Because I can guarantee you the first thing that's going to happen when they get to their car and it's got damage is they're calling the police. And the best thing to have is a file started that says the driver who hit your car is going to the collision reporting center, and we know who they are, and you can go do the same thing. That's the best way to go. Non-emergency line, that's the way to go. There is no online way to report it at the moment, but I believe there's an app coming soon. Hopefully that will also work for you guys for cars. I think it may only be for pedestrians and bicycles. More to come when that happens. Okay. Can an undercover or unmarked cop car give tickets? Boy, we got this. Was it you who asked me this morning, the preamble to this question? In any case, undercover is not going to issue tickets because they're undercover, and if they give you a ticket, then they're not undercover anymore. They've just identified them as a police officer. Undercovers do not identify as police officers. Unmarked cars operated by uniform or CIB plainclothes officers may pull you over, and they are certainly entitled to. What is this? Oh, it's a good question. Hang on a sec. Water time. Okay. Is it illegal to rev your car loud in a tunnel? So there is a thing, and it's called unnecessary noise. Unnecessary noise is any loud noise, whether it be your stereo, your horn, or your exhaust. So, yes, you could be charged whether you're in a tunnel or not in a tunnel. It's not legal to make noise for no reason. Okay. If we lost or forgot our license at home and got pulled over, you would be eligible for a ticket for failing to surrender a license upon demand of a police officer. You are required to deliver or surrender your license ownership and insurance upon demand of a police officer. You have to have the actual card in your hand at the time. For a police officer, when it comes to your license, you need to have a original or a true copy, which is a front and back photocopy of your ownership, of a valid ownership of that, to surrender. And the only thing you can currently provide electronically is going to be your insurance document. Oh, we got some Q&A questions that showed up on Instagram. Let's see what they got here. Okay. It says here, can I have LED lights on the inside of the vehicle under the dash? Are there color restrictions in the vehicle? I have a Ford. My Ford has a rainbow selection. I can choose anything I want. My footwells light up. And you can have them. It's a matter of if it's not illuminating the entire inside of the car, if it's not distracting to the driver, if it's not projecting outwards, you're good to go. And just a reminder, please remind or want to remind everybody in the room that we have moderators. They're trying to keep it classy. Please don't harass them. Please. What is this? Oh, and I don't read the chat. I am looking at Instagram. I generally only look at the Q&A on Instagram, just like I only look at the Q&A on TikTok. I do look at everything on YouTube and Facebook and all the others because it comes into one window. There is no Q&A section. So if you're asking in the chat and don't flag it for Q&A, I won't see it. It's going to be a moderator who answers you. And guess what? They know lots of stuff because they're here every single day with me. It's through, osmosis. They have an intense and immense knowledge of the Highway Traffic Act now. If you really want me to do it, make sure you just flag it as Q&A. So just to follow off on this license, you forget it, you're eligible for a ticket. LED lights, you could get a ticket. You won't get a ticket for internal. Disco ball may not be a good idea, but like I said, it's stock on my car. It's just accent lighting. Can I change lanes without signaling? So the way the HTA is written, it says that you have to signal whenever it could affect the movement of another vehicle. How do you know if so technically if you're the only vehicle out there, there's nobody else around, you could effectively not signal and change lanes. However, it's a bad habit. Just signal all the time. You're going to be much safer. And you don't know if you don't know. So the officer who pulls you over for not signaling was an officer who saw you not signaling, thus he was there or they were there, and you may have not signaled and affected them. So just signal all the time. And is it illegal to drive barefoot? It is not illegal to drive barefoot. Tell your mom she's okay. The deal is that I grew up thinking it was illegal too. Everyone, I think, grew up thinking it was illegal, and they were all lied to. Now, it may be different laws in different areas. Maybe we learned about it on TV because of American programming or, stuff from some other province. But in Ontario, it is perfectly legal to drive barefoot. However, if you're going to slam that brake pedal, you might hurt your toesies. Okay. If you don't mind, double tap that screen. Show that you like us. It's going to be the same on Instagram as it is on TikTok. It shares likes. It tells other people on the platform to come and check us out. And for anyone new to the room, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable at the Toronto Police Service, and I go live here on TikTok and a whole bunch of other platforms. Now, here's a question. Polly's, I can't say your name. I don't know where to put the emphasis. But would you personally pull someone over on the highway if they were going 120 kilometers an hour? So we have a highway. We have two highways in the city of Toronto. 120 would be 30 kilometers over, and I would absolutely pull someone over for that speed. You're not allowed to go over the speed limit, so any speed over the speed limit is eligible for a stop. Now, if it was between you and someone going a few kilometers faster than you, I would probably take the one faster, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't pull you over. It all depends. Let's see here. Someone asked if they could jump into our live. We're not taking guests on our live, but we will be having a very special guest on Wednesday, which is one of the reasons I'm asking people on TikTok to follow Toronto Police, the main corporate account. It has absolutely no videos posted at the moment, but we would love the chief to be able to use that. Did I mention there was a chief? The chief to use that account. Otherwise, he's going to be borrowing my account and using the VoiceOver Cop account, which is my account. If you'd like to follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, VoiceOver Cop is my personal account. It's still a professional account, but this is the place where I'll talk about traffic only, and there I'll talk about technology and all sorts of other things that we use to make the show happen, and just, different. It's different. Okay.
I have a question from the chat. Multiple platforms actually were asking about ghost cars.
Yes.
How can you suggest or tell them that to turn on their lights?
Okay. So technically, high beaming somebody is not legal. You can't high beam them and blind them because that's bad. I usually opt to pulling next to them at a traffic light when we're all stopped and safe. I honk the horn, try and get their attention, do the international roll down the window thing, even though everyone has power windows these days. And then I try and say, hey, your lights are off. I've also high beam people, a flash here and there to get their attention, a little tap on the horn. You do your best. If they're really dangerous and they're not paying attention, you could also call the non-emergency line, unless you think it's an emergency. You could call to police and say, we've got a car traveling on the highway at night. We can't see them. They're going to get hit by a car. These are things that we actually care about. And if we have a car available, or if the OPP has a car available in the area, they can go and pull them over and not only give them a ticket because it's an offense under the Highway Traffic Act, but we can also let them know to be safer and turn them on. Q wants to remind everyone to hit the follow button on traffic services as well, because we are so close to hitting 200,000. It might happen during this live session. Where are we? Let's see. Let me turn down the volume.
That's not what I asked. I asked to hit 250.
Oh, 250? Not during this live. That's not. We're at 199.5.
We hit 200. Oh,
we're at 199.5. We are 500 followers away from the 200,000. That's crazy wild. That's amazing. Very excited. I got to tell you, I never thought this was going to be a thing. I never thought that we'd ever be close to 200,000. In fact, I was super excited when we hit 18,000, because that's what we are at Traffic Services on Twitter. So that to me was a long-term account, years and years of use, 18,000 followers. And here I am with a 200,000 follower account, and I couldn't be happier. Really excited. Thank you so much for everyone who supported this channel and comes and asks us questions. Speaking of questions, M2 driver needs insurance to practice on friend's bike. The bike needs to be insured. If it's your friend's bike, the bike needs to be insured. Do you need to be listed as an occasional driver to borrow the bike once in a while? You need to check and make sure that the insurance policy covers people at whatever age you are at. If you're under 25, some policies say you cannot lend it to somebody else. But it's legal if the bike is legal. It could be a situation where you don't get coverage if you get into a collision, but the bike is insured in Ontario, it's insured. Okay. Do you agree we need another highway? Where on earth would we put it? Unless it's like a skyway and we suspend it above the tower. I don't know where we're going to put another highway, but certainly traffic's no fun. But I think if we just build more, we'll have more traffic. Isn't that how? I don't know how it works. Okay. Why won't speed limits be increased on the 401 is massive. Well, faster isn't better. Faster sounds better, but chances are if we raise the speed limits to 120, people will go 140. It's not safe. We're actually in the process of reducing speed limits in the city of Toronto. We've got areas of the Toronto that are now down to 30 kilometers an hour. Okay. Can you drop? Where to go? There we go. Julio or Julio, I don't know what. I don't want to mispronounce your name, so I'll just say it twice. Can you drive with plates that are rusted or not visible? No, you cannot. If it's not visible, if it's rusted, if it's not legible, it's illegal, and you need to replace those. Let's see here. Okay. Megan wants to know why couldn't I? What happened? I tried to get Megan's question. Let's try this again. Okay. Megan, it cut off part of your question that I'd mentioned previously. Wow, you can go really long questions in this thing. The question was that I had mentioned in a previous question that people do weird things when you have your lights on. You had mentioned pulling over, but are we required by law to slow down and pull over? Correct. Yes. Okay. Yes, in fact, Megan is absolutely correct. When you when you see lights and sirens, you are required to pull over to the closest curb or edge of roadway and come to a safe stop. The reason we sometimes leave our lights and sirens off, even though we are traveling beyond the speed limit, is because we don't want you to do that. We want to just get where we're going. We don't want to completely disrupt the flow. Some people stop like right in front of us and don't do it properly, and it can create more of a hazard for us than simply traveling at a little bit above the speed limit and getting to where we have to go, and only using our lights and sirens when we have to get you to move out of the way because you're in the way, or we have to go through a red light at a traffic controlled intersection. So there are reasons why we need it, and there are reasons why we don't, and it depends on the individual situation that will gauge or have us do what we do. Can I get pulled over while riding a horse? Sure, you can. Megan, you're on both platforms. I just saw Megan's question on TikTok as well. So I won't duplicate it. Here, I'll flash it on the screen. It's there. Megan, you're in both places. Okay. Let's see here. Why do people hang CDs from rearview mirrors? Because CDs are antiques now? I don't know. Panjari says, it's my stunning personality that is obviously in reference to how we got to 200,000 followers. I can't disagree with you. My wife agrees even, except when she's not happy with me. Okay. Do U.S. tickets affect your license? U.S. tickets do affect your license depending on what state you were charged. New York and Michigan both have reciprocal agreements with Ontario. I was under the impression for the longest time that Florida did too because we have so many snowbirds. I don't know if that's actually the case, but it depends. It depends. And if you're suspended in any province or state, it's my understanding that you are also considered suspended here. So you have to be very careful. Follow the law. Also, forget that they report. If you go to the States, if you are charged and you don't pay, and then you don't do anything about it, you come home, then years later go to visit, expect that you might get arrested because that does happen as well. They do not take kindly to folks who choose not to pay after being charged and convicted in their absence. Okay, here's a great question. Is it illegal to install LED bulbs in my headlights that change the color? So if you change the color and you project that color, it's illegal. You can only project white and yellow to the front, period. Projecting being projector bulbs and marker bulbs. Now, if you are talking about an accent light, like the rings, the halos, they are illegal. They don't project. So they can be distracting. They may not be perfect, but they are not specifically illegal. If someone disagrees and thinks it is legal, let me know. We'll look it up again. But my understanding is it is not illegal. I occasionally hear from officers who say, no, it's not. Yes, it is. And, if someone thinks I'm wrong, we'll look it up and we'll come to a conclusion together. But I've yet to be told, other than a half dozen times from Sergeant Campbell, that I'm wrong. But usually we'll drill down and I may not be wrong, but I don't want to gloat. Sometimes I'm wrong, very rarely. But it's about stuff. Yeah, anyway. Sleigh bells. We talked about sleigh bells with him. Okay. Can you get a ticket for driving too slow? Yes, you can. It's unnecessary slow driving under the Highway Traffic Act. Now, how slow is too slow? It talks about impeding traffic. If you're impeding traffic unnecessarily without reason, you could find yourself charged. But you're not legally required to go the speed limit everywhere you go. And the question is, well, how much slower than the speed limit can you go? Well, it depends. Again, impeding traffic. If you're in the passing lane and you're doing 20 kilometers under, yeah, I got a problem with that. If you're in the right-hand lane doing 20 kilometers under the limit, is it a problem? Depends. Maybe your vehicle doesn't do that. Maybe you're driving an old military vehicle and 60K or 70K, 80K is the maximum it's capable of doing. Is it illegal to drive on the highway? Not if it's got an engine displacement that says it's allowed to be on the highway. Look at the Hummer. It only goes up to, 90? Is it 90 miles an hour? Not a good example. Okay. Maybe, I don't even know maybe it's 70 miles an hour. I got to look it up now. Things I don't remember. Okay. Can I get a ticket for putting reindeer antlers on my car? We have Ryan Pinn. He is a driving instructor in Nova Scotia, and he wants to know. Now, I want to know, is it legal there? I don't think it's illegal here, as long as it's not obstructing your view. If your reindeer nose isn't a flashing red light, you should be okay. But it's definitely nice to see people getting into the spirit of the holidays. Okay, let's see here. I got a question from Demon Ragnos. It's an interesting name. So if you have a semi-driver going at 150 and another going at 130, who do you pull over? Well, a semi-driver is going to be, you can't go over 105. They're limited to 105. There shouldn't be a semi like a tractor trailer driver who's capable of going at either of those speeds. Yeah, and if you have someone doing 150 and 130, yeah, I'd probably go after the person going faster because I'm taking that vehicle for 14 days and they're going to be suspended for 30. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go for the stunt driver, but that doesn't mean that the 130 is off the hook. Maybe we'll get them both. Maybe my counterparts, the next lights or next section of the highway are going to get them. Also, our speed limits in the city of Toronto, including our expressways, are 90 kilometers an hour. So yeah, you're really speeding bad. Okay. And John Powery or Ponchauri, he's really messing with my names here, says the antlers, as long as they don't fall off, it's not. It's insecure load if those things fall off. So make sure they're secured. And Q mentioned that I had previously said that you cannot cross on double solid lines, but isn't there a charge for failure to maintain your lane? No, drive in marked lane is an old charge. It's not one anymore in the province of Ontario. I am familiar that it did exist, but it does not exist anymore. It's being taken off the books. So there you go. Hey, 350 people in the room, and I just want to say hello. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable at the Toronto Police Service, and I answer your traffic and police questions here on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, what else? A whole bunch of places. Okay. Question about chat, because we never talk about chat. Whether window tinting is legal. Front side windows, thank you. Okay. That's from Seven Joy. The question is tint, and we've talked about it recently, but we'll talk about it again. You can't have anything on your front window. Driver's side and passenger side front windows, those are the windows directly beside the driver on either side, can have up to 30% according to the mechanic's inspection log. When it comes to tints, you can't have reflective or color tint for the HTA because you can't obscure the interior of your vehicle. A lot of people want to know about this chameleon tint. That's reflective tint. That's a no-no. Back windows can be as dark as you like. And moving on. Okay, Jonathan wants to know about white underglow on my car. It's not a problem if you're not projecting light to the back front. I'd suggest private property only. You could find yourself, depending on how you install it, getting tickets for a whole bunch of things. There's no underglow law, though, so you could be okay. Is a signal required when you are in a left-turning lane only, left-only lane? Yes, a signal is always required if the movement of your vehicle or your intention to move may affect another driver or vehicle. Or I would even say pedestrian, but I think it's written that it says vehicle. In any case, get in the habit of always signaling, and you're going to be a happier person for it because you reduce the risk of potentially getting fined for anything. Okay. Okay, so here is a big warning from the moderators. There are people who are spamming like crazy in the chat, and this is a warning that there is going to be a mute-a-thon, and people are going to lose their ability to speak in the chat. If you can't be nice and you got nothing to say that's nice, don't say nothing. Or if you ask once, because if you repeatedly do it, you're going to either be bumped to the line or removed from the room. We don't want to do that. It's all about being friendly and fun in here. Let's see here. Are dump truck companies liable for rocks that hit your windshield from their truck? I would think they are. This is where dash cams are fantastic, because I doubt your ability to remember while going, holy moly, as a rock flies through and cracks your window, to be able to identify that truck and ensure from the video footage that it was actually coming off of their vehicle. But I think if you could prove that it was coming off their vehicle, that it would. And that is spam. Why did I read that? Alarms asked that 3 times. So please don't. It's just not cool, man. Okay. Okay, let's see here. I want to jump out of there. There was a long question from someone who's driving truck, and I don't know how to answer that question right now. Let's see here. I'm a trucker, and I was passing another trucker, and police came up behind us, so both of us went to our respective shoulders, one to the right, one to the left. Is that the right thing to do? Okay, so if you're on a divided highway, then it's the closest shoulder. Technically, it's the closest shoulder. So yeah, doing left and right could be the right thing to do. It's always, in my opinion, better to go to the right, but you may not be able to. And if a police, fire, ambulance needs to get by, closest shoulder is what it says. So you were not in the wrong. But if we're pulling you over for safety, like if we're going to do a stop, shoulders on the right are generally bigger. So if you're the one being pulled over, the right is the right, as far as I'm concerned. What is the other YouTube name? Oh, sorry. A question from Instagram. Linda Warrington wants to know, what is the other YouTube name you mentioned? VoiceOver Cop. So VoiceOver Cop is on Twitter, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But when it comes to YouTube, the only YouTube channel we have is Traffic Services Toronto Police. Traffic Services Toronto Police for YouTube. Would love to have you as a subscriber. Okay. We have more questions. So many questions. Okay. Do I think that November 1st is too early for Christmas season? I like to wait until after the 11th. My focus is Remembrance Day. Only after Remembrance Day is when I can start talking about the holiday season, because I want to remember and pay homage to those that lost their lives protecting us, and all those events that people. I don't want to go down there. I've already been down the emotional rabbit hole of Remembrance Day, but I wait until after Remembrance Day. Okay. What happens when a city bus gets a ticket? If a city bus does something to get a ticket, they get a ticket. I understand that the driver actually gets sent home for the rest of the day. That's my understanding. Okay. Can you remind people about driving in the HOV lane? Yes. HOV lanes for electric vehicles that have green plates, only green plates. If you've got a custom plate on your Tesla, you no longer qualify for that HOV lane while riding solo. And toddlers are considered humans, despite what their parents might think of them. And what else can I tell you about them? There are certain exclusions, taxis and limo drivers, and I believe they have access as well. At the end of the day, those lines, we talk about lines not being able to be crossed. If you're going to be doing line crossing in the HOV lane, expect to get a ticket. They do enforce that because there are signs, and the signs are the ones that have the authority. What else can I tell you? Mannequins don't count, because we talked about that in previous videos. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. What else? We Ryan Pinn, when it comes to decorating, I just say it's been a rough couple of years, so people need joy. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, Ryan. It is a truth. And I really hope this holiday season is good for everyone. I think we all need a little joy. There's no question about it. Are we going to start targeting people who have Santa Claus, on their vehicle? I don't think that's going to be the priority. Our focus is always going to be the big four. Big four is your speeders, your aggressive drivers, your distracted drivers, and your impaired drivers. And It's ride season. We are out there all the time looking for impaired drivers. If you're going to be drinking, if you're going to be consuming drugs, don't get behind the wheel of a car or any conveyance, because that will not end well. You're either going to end up in a collision, changing your life or the lives of others forever, or you're going to go to jail. You're going to get arrested. You're going to get criminal charges. It is not a good idea. Would you recommend having a dash cam? Could you prove that someone did something they shouldn't have? What is this? Yeah, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's just a long. Okay, it's only another sentence. Someone they shouldn't have had a driver without a dash cam. Okay. Yeah, I highly endorse dash cams. I think it's the best evidence. We always talk about what's the best way to either, protect yourself when it comes to information. Video is a fantastic way. It's best evidence. I think it's a great way. Okay. What do we got here? What can we talk about here? How come police think they're exempt from the law? Well, I don't know specifically what you're referring to. When it comes to speeding or using their handheld communication devices, they are exempt from the law. So if you're talking about something else, I'm not aware of anything. I have no belief in myself that I am exempt from anything. I want to be a good example and, do the right thing. That's part of what my job is. So if you've got other stuff, let me know. But I think we're supposed to be the best examples of everyone. Now, there are times when we do things that we aren't supposed to do, and there are people who get arrested, police officer or otherwise, when they break the rules. So we tend to be prosecuted and made example of if we make boo-boos. And there are boo-boos that other people would get a slap on the wrist for. But it is what it is. Okay. Moving on. What can I pull? We had so many different windows. I want to try and make sure everybody. What is this? We got comment on those LED light poles on the highways. High view. So Marissa says, I just have to comment on those LED light poles on most highways. They really don't light up the highways as good as the older lights. Wish they could improve the lighting. I sometimes have to use my high beams just to see better in the weather. I can't say that I've had a lot of experience with these, mostly because I'm in bed by 9 o'clock because I get up at 4 o'clock. But I'm gonna have to pay attention. We'll have to revisit this, Marissa, in the not too distant future, because now I'm going to be really paying attention to get an idea of what you're talking about. But I've not had any complaints about any of the driving that I've done in darkness. My headlights do a good job. Maybe it's a headlight problem. Okay. Can I get a speeding ticket when exceeding the posted limit on a bicycle? Actually, no. Unless you're in a park, the Highway Traffic Act in Ontario does not include bicycles, and it's not a challenge to show off to the cars and pass them, but the idea is you should be safe, because especially you on a bicycle, you're a vulnerable road user. Okay. When will you not be going live this week? Actually, I changed my shift. I disliked not being here every day, to the point where I started doing live sessions from my house, because on the days off, it was just so disruptive. So I am back to a Monday to Friday schedule as of today, and I will be here as long as the operational needs allow for it. If I have to be somewhere because of a media event, then I will let everyone know. I'm also going to start scheduling them and announcing them in advance, so giving you some heads up when I'm going to be on. If there's going to be a change from the 9 o'clock, definitely going to try and announce it to everybody. Okay, here's a great question. I like this question. Hello, I have a question. Why does a vehicle need to be towed from a collision scene? It doesn't always need to be towed from a collision scene. Now, if you're at a collision scene and you're blocking traffic and a police officer says, I'm towing your vehicle because you have to get it going and we have to open up the road, that's a reason. Police direction is one of the reasons why you may have to be towed. And that is one of those things where you don't get a choice. You can't say, no, I don't want to. Now, if we see a defect or we believe it's unsafe to let you drive away in that vehicle, we may direct you to say, that is not safe to drive, you must be towed. That's another reason. Now, otherwise, outside of those two, if you're sent by ambulance to hospital, that's another reason. And in the absence of a driver, whether you be arrested or sent to ambulance, or sent by ambulance to hospital, those would be other reasons where police officers would tow a vehicle. Outside of that, if we think the vehicle it was a minor collision, you could be good to go. Let's see here. Okay, I forgot. Q is stepping in to translate or to state the fact that I do not speak French. Let's see here. Oh, Ryan Pin has a suggestion for Marissa, who is complaining about headlights not being bright enough. He says, check to ensure your windshield is clean on the inside and out. This may make the view seem darker than it really is. And just to remind everyone, Ryan is a driving instructor in Nova Scotia. He works for a big company, possibly the biggest. I think they're the biggest. Let's see here. Oh, here's a great question from chat. And it's a good question. It's actually a question I had when I was speaking to recruiting with the OPP. Now, I say this. I have not applied to the OPP. I've never applied to the OPP. I did go in and have a session when I was like 17 years old because I wanted to know about the ins and outs of applying. And I was asked questions. And one of those questions was, would you ticket your mother? And I thought about that. And I said, yes. I said, if my mother chose to break the law and put me in a position that I would have to think about it, put my career on the line, when she's supposed to be the example, I'd give her a ticket. So would I give my son or daughter a ticket? Absolutely. Actually, I think it'd make it interesting. If I had a partner or another person who could do it, I'd have them write the ticket. But I want them to get that ticket because tickets change behavior. Behavior that is poor behavior that leads to serious injury and death on our roads is behavior that needs to be changed. The whole idea of tickets is to make it an unfun process. Not supposed to enjoy a ticket. It's supposed to be the same thing as teaching your kids or your friends lessons. Those lessons could save their lives. So I think getting a ticket is a good lesson. It certainly worked for me when I was 16. I ran a stop sign, not knowing. I just was a new driver and I ran a stop sign. I can tell you that I stopped for stop signs, that I pay attention because I did not like getting that ticket. I also got one speeding ticket. I don't get tickets anymore. I don't break the law. It's just one of those things. Okay. Can I drink and drive with coffee at the same time? Can I drive and drink coffee at the same time? Not drink and drive. Consuming non-alcoholic beverages are legal. It is legal. If you're doing it in such a way that you're not paying attention to your driving, if it results in a collision, if you're all over the road, could you be charged with something else? Yeah. Yeah, you could be charged with careless driving because you still need to have care and control of your vehicle. You still need to be paying attention to what you're doing. And if it goes sideways, you're responsible. If you're just not good at what you're doing and navigating a coffee could be a problem. Maybe drinks with straws so you don't obstruct your vision. In any case, it's not specifically illegal, but the actions of your driving may cause it to result in a ticket regardless. Let's see here. We are actually out of time, and I have somewhere to be, but I want to make sure that there's no spectacular question, diamond in the rough, that needs to be addressed. I'm about to wrap.
They're asking whether or not they can eat a sandwich.
Oh, so you want a sandwich. Someone wants to know if they can have a sandwich when they are driving. Same deal. If you are driving and you are consuming or doing anything other than focused on driving, it could result in a charge. Specifically, there's no charge for eating a hamburger, sausage, anything under the sun is not listed. But at the end of the day, if you're doing things other than driving, you may result in a ticket. You could be charged. So yeah, be careful. I was driving beside someone off duty on my way to work, I think, and they were consuming a bowl. They were eating like soup or dumplings or something. They were full on. They had chopsticks going. But I also see people who are watching TV. It's amazing what I see when I'm not at work. In any case, we have hit that time. We've actually gone overtime. It has been a blast. I'll be back here tomorrow, 9 a.m., and I look forward to seeing all of you again. If you haven't already, please follow us. If you haven't followed Toronto Police, please follow them. We're trying to get them to 1,000 followers so the chief can be live on their account on Wednesday because he's supposed to be joining us on our show, and they don't have an account to go live with. We've got a solution if we don't hit 1,000, but we'd love your help to get to 1,000. So once we're out of here, if you can hit at Toronto Police on TikTok and follow, please do. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow. And I'm going to start with Instagram. We're going to end now. Bye-bye. Okay, and now we are going to say goodbye to the folks on TikTok. You're back, so I can let our Q say goodbye to them, to you.
Bye, TikTok.
Then I don't know, is it 5 seconds we have to wait? I think it's like 5 seconds. But let's see what's going on here.
It's done.
Done. Okay, that was a good one. Oh, we got some questions from Newfoundland. Good numbers. Almost 10,000 people in our live today. It's great. To everybody on YouTube, I'm looking way over here because that's where my chat window is. Let me move that here. Let me put it over here. There we go. Just a quick shout out to everyone who's been spending time with us. Patrick, Patrick wants to see the studio setup behind the camera of all the media platforms. I keep talking about it. I got to do it. We are going to do it. It's going to be a hectic week with the chief coming on this Wednesday, but we will get it, and I'll be sharing it on Voiceover Cop, so check us out there. Jeremy, pardon me?
I believe in you.
You believe in me. Lots of stuff going on. It's a busy week. It's let's see here. We got Ryan. Thank you, Jeremy, Patrick, Q, of course. Ryan. We said again. Marissa, Tintatozi. Who else we got here? Joyce. Sorry I missed your question, but we don't have time for it now. Demon Ragnos. Your name. Yeah. What is going on here? I've obviously missed some dialogue. Oh, World of Warcraft. Okay, yeah. Apparently, Ryan's a World of Warcraft player because he's he's making fun of him. Okay, we are shutting it down. Nico, by the way, thank you for all the questions. So, Kayla, thanks for dropping by, and Angela, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you for keeping me hydrated, and we're